Hey Ottawa, here is your Monday market snapshot for the Ottawa real estate market for May 1st, 2023. My name is Annalee Rice and I'm a realtor with LePage Performance Realty in Ottawa, Ontario. And every week I bring you the stats for the number of active listings, sales, lots of charts and data to share to understand what's going on in the Ottawa real estate market. This week, with the end of April, I've got lots of extra charts and data and showing you the different trends from the last month, so stay tuned. First, we'll look at the citywide stats. What we first see is that the number of active listings again dropped this week. So we dropped by 44. It's not really great that we have that few properties listed for sale. We need more listings, not less. Sales this week, on the other hand, climbed by 31, and that's about 11% increase over last week, which was also a rise. It's unsustainable to have more sales like this with not more listings, so we need more listings. Most notably, we see that the townhomes and condominiums sold more comparatively this week. So here's the graph form of active listings in green, the conditionally sold properties in orange, and the sold properties in the red. So you see that the total number of properties involved on the market was just shy this week, and the active listings is down there. The red wedge is growing as we see more sales. So for the second week in a row, we see that yellow bar is dropping just slightly. So that's fewer listings, fewer new listings. And so this week we had 394 properties that were listed onto the market. And of those, 82% were new to the market. That was 324 properties. And 18% or 70 properties were relisted properties. These ratios are staying pretty steady, but with only 324 newly listed properties and 316 sales, we're actually seeing the drop in the active listings. We have to remember that it's not just new listings and sales, because you also have properties that get canceled off the market. Okay, so we're seeing again that the percentage of homes that are selling with conditions is remaining pretty solidly around the 3/4 of the property. So that is great news for everybody. Especially since we're starting to see shifts towards quicker sales and increased competition. So of the properties that sold this week, 23% were on the market for 7 or fewer days, so 1 week or less, and 65% of the homes sold in less than a month. These ratios are still tending to stay pretty steady as well, although I do expect them to continue to rise as we get shorter days on market. Okay, then we're going to zoom into the more specific details of the different regions, starting with the central urban region. In the central urban region, which is inside the green belt, the numbers and the trends kind of match pretty close with the citywide trends. The condominium listings are down by 11 and the sales were up by 10, which is pretty significant. In Canada and Stittsville, we're seeing fewer homes actively listed across all property types. Sales were up for the detached homes, and they were down from the townhomes from the pretty high number that we saw last week. Something I'm going to point out in the next 3 areas here is that we see that the townhomes, there's a lot of sales and not a lot of listings. So it's getting pretty tight for the townhome sales across the city. And in Canada here, we even see that the detached homes, we've got 33 sales and only 109. So that's about like almost 30% of the homes selling in 1 week. So stay tuned to the slides later on. I'm going to talk about the months of inventory, which you're going to see the trend on that. Okay, in Barrhaven and Riverside South, we see that the market was fairly flat compared to the citywide stats. But like in Canada, we also see the townhomes there, 19 sales and only 39 on the market. Frankly, it's unsustainable. So that will continue to push prices higher and cause lots of frustration for the buyers who have a hard time getting a purchase. And when we move to Orleans, we see a drop in the townhome and condominium listed for sale and increases to the sales. So lots more townhomes for sale, 21 sales and only 33 on the market. Again, very, very tight market. Okay, so here are the full stats for the residential detached homes. We see that the average days on market for the sold properties, again, is quite low compared to the ones that are actively listed. And here we have the townhomes. We have the days on market staying quite low across the different regions for the sold properties. And the number of sales there, you see that there's a lot of sales and quite a few conditional sales. So we'll probably see a lot of sales next week as well. And condominiums, we see the numbers are definitely higher. Condominiums are selling slower than the freehold properties, but they're picking up a little bit. Okay, let's move on to some of the extra slides that I've created. So the first slide I've got here is the average sale price by property type. And so unlike the rest of my slides that I only do detached, townhome, and then condominiums all put together, here I've separated it out into, I've added in the semi-detached homes, and I've also split condo townhomes and condo apartments. So that's the 5 different colors. This is the big trends, and you can see the last 5 months now, the detached homes have been climbing steadily in average sale price. The townhomes, the orange, is quite more flat. It's slowly rising. And the last couple months, we see that there's been quite a rise for the semi-detached properties as well. This month, we saw the condo apartments rise in prices. Let's zoom in a little bit for month-to-month percentages. Okay, so we see this is the March stats and April stats. And again, these are taken from the 30th of April, so these numbers could change a little bit. And this is all just City of Ottawa boundaries. It's not exactly the same stats that you get from the Ottawa Real Estate Board, which will come out later this week. But from these stats pulled on the last day of April, we see that the average sale price for detached homes was up 5.7% across the city. And then we had the huge rise for the semi-detached, almost like 9.5%, 9.3%. Townhome freeholds was just pretty flat at 0.3%. And then condo row homes were up 4.3%, and condo apartments were up nearly 9%. So quite, again, for condos, they're a lot more volatile. You could have ups and downs, same as a semi-detached. There's just not as many properties in those property types and sales, so they have a little bit more volatility in the pluses and minuses and prices. This is the new slide for this week. I wanted to share the close price to the original list price ratio. So this is generally on like how close to the list price or the original list price are homes selling. So as you see, this is over the last year. So you can see in all 3 of those property types, we had sales well above the asking price back in the late spring of 2022. So this was May is the first bar there, May 2022. And that was sort of the end of the peak prices and the frenzy of 2022 market. So detached homes were selling at about 104% of asking price. And then they dropped down to about 96%, and now they're up above 98%, a little above 98%. So they're definitely climbing. People are continuing to offer the price that they're wanting, and the buyers are on par, offering a couple percent lower than what they're asking. For townhomes, we see that it was almost at 105 for the back in May, and it dropped down to almost 96%, and not quite as so about 96% for townhomes, and now we're up about over 99%. So townhomes are selling pretty near what their asking prices or original asking prices are. And for condominiums, they never quite went as high. So it was in the May 2022, they were up at about 100 and little over 102%. And then they dropped down to about 96.5% in the late 2022. And now they're up to just shy of 98%. So this shows us that prices are coming up a little bit. People are offering closer to asking price or more often asking price, more homes might be selling for over asking price. Okay, this next slide is the months of inventory. I shared this about a month ago with the March numbers, and I've just updated the numbers there. So detached months of inventory has again dropped. Last month we were up at about 2.4, and now we're down to 1.6. Again, months of inventory is that if there were no more homes listed for sale, then how many months would it take to sell the current inventory? So it would take 1.6 months to sell the remaining homes at the same sale rate that we're having. And for townhomes, we're down below a month of inventory. So this was what I was pointing out in the stats this week was that we're like half the number of townhomes that are listed are selling each week. So it would take less than a month to sell the rest of them if we continued selling at that same rate. And for condominiums, we're down to 1.8. So that's a little bit higher than detached. But again, it would not take that long to sell all the condominiums that are currently listed for sale. So the number of sales is picking up, and that is why we're seeing these numbers dropping. It's because the inventory isn't picking up at the same rate as the sales are. Okay, that's lots of information. And I hope that if you found this information helpful, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you liked. Let me know if anything was confusing or if you want to see anything else in the weeks to come. And I'm happy to share. You can follow me on my YouTube channel, Your Ottawa Realtor, or my details are there. Send me an email or give me a call. Have a great week.